Hi there, it's Carrie for part 3 of the series Compare and Despair, to help us really take hold of this internal dialogue that happens when we are looking at other people or looking at how we think we should be, setting ourselves standards or expectations that maybe are unrealistic, and how that impacts on our confidence and self-esteem and view of ourselves. So in this third part, we're really looking at how to move from that comparison with others or with our unrealistic expectations and building a sense of belief in ourselves. So this third part is really turning it around. How can we be intentionally focused more on what we are doing well, what is authentic for us, and what we can build from and grow towards to help us and enable us feel that we are enough, that we don't need to be setting our standard against an unrealistic measure of somebody else or in the world. So, thinking about that, let's just focus on three aspects. So the third part is sort of shifting from, looking at the external outcome of what we think we should be by now, and looking for that perfect outcome, that perfect response, and instead focusing more on the progress that we might be making, focusing on the small steps, not the flawless outcome. So every small win, no matter how small, how minor, builds momentum and builds self-worth. And it is that intention to do something and then setting out and doing that small thing bit by bit, 1% by 1%, that really builds the confidence. So if we're looking at how we are doing it, not the outcome of what happens, letting go of holding tightly to the outcome, and instead really embracing the progress, learning from the experience, whatever the outcome, knowing that we've built something, we've changed in some way, that we are experiencing something and growing in that sort of sense of self-worth. So that's the first stage. The second stage links to that, and it's really about celebrating the wins. And what I notice with people is, when we are in a negative mindset, when there's a negative bias, we continually see what's going wrong, what should be going better, and we think that's helpful to us. And in a sense, it can be. But if we are biased towards that and not accepting and bringing into our awareness those things that are already going well, that we're already doing significantly, and having small wins in different areas can be so helpful to us, to help us recognize that we have some of those qualities and resilience resources already happening, and we can utilize those and remind ourselves of those to help us with the bigger, challenges or difficulties that we might be facing. So to do that, I always say to people, it's like, bringing the spotlight around and focusing it in a different area of your life. And that takes active attention, because we're not automatically going to do it. So set the intention, and maybe, if you already write in a journal, or you already do something where you focus on yourself and what's happening, then add this element to it, reflecting on something, no matter how small, that feels like it was a win, a success, and celebrate this, write it down. When you write it down and you recognize and hold that in your mind, you're anchoring that, you are building a habit, you're building that neural pathway. So celebrate, reflect on however small that area of the day might have been. If you focus more on it, that will grow. So if it's something where you did your 10,000 steps, or if you made that phone call to the water board that you haven't done, you put it off, or you made contact with somebody in your LinkedIn, say, that you had been meaning to do but hadn't done. All of those things, celebrating those, looking out for them. And finally, it's about recognizing who you are and accepting who you are now. So that self-belief comes from knowing who you are now, acknowledging that you might have things that you're not comfortable with yet, or you don't want to have these areas going on in your life, but they are. So the closer we are to accepting those, then we can move with that and move forward. The more we're trying to get away from something, we're sort of stuck and the wheels will keep going round. So not building up yourself higher than you are, not lowering yourself down lower than you are, it's being who you are, and seeing that realistically can really help us relax in ourselves. If we're accepting of that, we accept the good and the bad, we accept the things going well and not so well, we can inhabit that world and feel okay with it. And when we're okay with it, we're not so worried about what other people think. So try those things out. So it's focusing on the progress, celebrate the small wins that come with that progress, and embrace your uniqueness. So notice everything that's going on and acknowledge and accept where you're at now as a starting point for any change that happens moving forward. It's okay where you're at now. You are enough now. And if you have that, then you're not continually needing to validate yourself against other people's expectations or other people's successes. It's more about your own. All right, hope you found that helpful. And please message me, contact me, either if you're on YouTube or with the Facebook. Let me know if there's any other areas you would like for me to focus on. I'm Carrie Dubber. All right, bye for now.